What happens when a billionaire's wild stallion meets an autistic girl's gentle touch? Stay tuned to find out. In the small town of Willow Creek, there lived a girl named Lily. She was 12 years old, with a heart full of dreams and a special way with animals. Lily had autism, which made some things, like crowds or loud noises, overwhelming for her. But it also gave her a unique gift. She could see the world through a lens of quiet wonder. She loved horses more than anything, their strength and grace, speaking to her in a way words never could. On the edge of town loomed the grand estate of Mr. Harrington, a billionaire whose wealth was matched only by his cold reputation. His pride and joy was a stable of magnificent horses, including Thunder, a wild stallion no one could tame. His coat gleamed like midnight, but his spirit roared like a storm, untouchable and fierce. One golden afternoon, Lily wandered toward the stable, drawn by the distant thunder of hooves. She slipped through a gap in the fence, the air thick with the earthy smell of hay and the faint tang of leather. Thunder's stall loomed ahead, his massive form pacing restlessly. The other horses nickered softly, but Thunder snorted, his breath puffing out in sharp bursts. Lily stepped closer, unafraid. "It's okay, boy," she whispered, her voice a soft melody against the stable's quiet hum. "I won't hurt you." She reached out, her small hand trembling slightly, and Thunder stilled. His wild eyes met hers, and he pressed his muzzle into her palm, as if surrendering to her kindness. It was a moment so pure, so unexpected, it felt like the world held its breath, but then a shadow fell across the straw-covered floor. Mr. Harrington stormed in, his voice cutting through the silence. "What are you doing here?" he barked, his eyes narrowing at Lily. Then he saw Thunder, calm, docile, and his jaw dropped. "I've never seen him like this," he muttered, almost to himself. Lily's parents arrived moments later, breathless and apologetic. "She wanders off sometimes," her mother explained, wringing her hands. "She loves horses, but we can't—" Her voice broke. "We can't afford the therapy she needs. It's been hard." Mr. Harrington crossed his arms, studying Lily, as she stood by Thunder, her fingers tracing his mane. Can you imagine how he felt? A man who'd built an empire, faced with a girl who had nothing, yet somehow held power over his prized stallion. It rattled him. The stable hands whispered among themselves, their skepticism loud in the silence. A child, taming Thunder? It was laughable. But Lily didn't flinch. She just kept humming softly to the horse, oblivious to the tension building around her. After a long pause, Mr. Harrington spoke, his tone gruff but curious. "If you can tame Thunder," he said, locking eyes with Lily, "I'll pay for your therapy." The words hung in the air, a challenge wrapped in a lifeline. Lily's face lit up, her nod small but resolute. The stable hands exchanged looks. Some rolled their eyes, others shrugged. Thunder was a legend for all the wrong reasons. Trainers had quit over him. But Lily? She was different. And Mr. Harrington, though he masked it with a scoff, couldn't hide the flicker of intrigue in his gaze. This was no longer just about a horse, it was about proving something to himself as much as to her. Days turned into weeks, and Lily returned to the stable every afternoon. She brushed Thunder's coat until it shone, her hands steady despite his occasional snorts of protest. She'd sit by his stall, talking to him about the wind and the fields, her voice weaving a calm he couldn't resist. Her kindness wasn't loud or forced. It was patient, unwavering, and it began to change him. The stable hands noticed too. At first, they'd laughed behind her back, but soon they softened. One offered her a worn brush, saying, "You're doing better than we ever did." Another stayed late to show her how to adjust a saddle, his gruff voice gentling as he spoke. Their small acts of support lifted Lily's spirits, giving her strength she didn't know she had. Even Mr. Harrington changed. He'd linger by the stable, watching Lily work, his sharp edges dulling with each visit. One day he caught himself smiling as Thunder trotted after her like a puppy. It hit him hard. Wealth couldn't buy what she had, a heart that saw beyond fear. But doubt crept in. One stormy evening, Thunder reared up, spooked by a crack of lightning, and Lily stumbled back, tears stinging her eyes. She sat in the straw, hugging her knees, whispering, "Am I enough?" At home, her parents worried too. "It's dangerous," her father said, his voice tight. "What if she fails?" Lily overheard and her chest ached. But then she thought of Thunder's trusting eyes and wiped her tears. "He needs me," she said, and that was enough to keep going. The day of the big ride dawned bright and crisp, the town buzzing with anticipation. People lined the paddock, murmuring as Lily approached Thunder. Her heart thudded like a drum, but she took a deep breath, the scent of grass and horsehair grounding her. "We can do this together," she whispered, her hand firm on his reins. She climbed onto his back, and for a moment Thunder tensed, hooves stomping the earth. The crowd gasped. But Lily leaned forward, her voice steady against his ear. "I trust you." And then, he moved. They rode, wind whipping through Lily's hair, Thunder's stride smooth and sure. The sun dipped low, painting them in gold, and it was breathtaking, a triumph of trust and love. As they slowed, the crowd erupted, cheers echoing across the fields. Lily slid off Thunder, her grin wide and bright. Mr. Harrington stepped forward, his eyes glistening. "You did it," he said, voice rough with emotion. Then louder to the crowd, "I'm paying for her therapy and starting a program so other kids can know this magic." Lily's parents rushed to her, wrapping her in a tearful hug. The town celebrated, not just for the victory, but for the hope it sparked. Kindness had won, breaking barriers no one thought could fall. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share your own stories of kindness in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you've seen it change lives. And stay tuned for our next story, where one small gesture turns a stranger into a hero. In a world where differences often divide us, kindness has the power to bring us together. It's a reminder that we all have the ability to make a difference, one act of kindness at a time.